The thing about comics is that it's one of the few truly American art forms, along with jazz. Our hope with the comic art workshop here is that we'll be able to grow this into really, first and foremost, a drawing resource, because these are beautiful drawings, regardless of their commercial point of origin. It's great to be able to teach students by bringing them in here and showing them the original things and looking at how the artists move their hand, how they organize the page.
Well, first I say, oh, I'm taking sequential art. What's that? Well, it's a class on comic books. You have a class on comic books? You know, people think of comics as being kind of a lowbrow art form, which I disagree with.
I've always been interested in sequential art because my ultimate dream would be to work like doing storyboarding, that kind of thing. I always like comic books, and so I was talking to them, and they just like mentioned it offhand. And I was like, why aren't you advertising this more? This sounds like the coolest thing ever.
I've always read comics. I've always watched, animated shows. I've pretty much been immersed in and obsessed with comic books and similar art forms for my entire life. The fact that we have a class on it in a dedicated space to teaching about comics is amazing. I didn't know about it until just this year.
Sequential art is a term that was coined by an artist named Will Eisner, and he's a kind of a giant from the comic book field. And he wanted to elevate the discussion around comics, and the best way he thought he could do that is by changing what comics are called. And so sequential art is literally artwork that you read in a series. And what I'm really teaching is critical thinking, a sort of analysis of material, and I'm teaching creativity, and I'm teaching students how to make work that is clear and that persuades. And those are all incredibly useful skills, whether or not they go on and become important comic book artists. Our students are learning these valuable real-world skills through this apparently frivolous and fun material, which is comics.
What I'm learning from this class is how to convey ideas in, distinctly from the way I learn in English classes, how to convey my ideas in a logical and concise fashion.
It's so interesting that you can consider it a class because it's so out there and fun. It totally fits in exactly with Rice's philosophy of being unconventional learning, I think.